Yeah.
So crazy, crazy times. And they closed Treasure Island in 1967, I think it was, as an institution. And so I'm sitting there waiting for my permanent duty station, and people, I mean, it was height of Vietnam, right? And people were going through Vietnam or going to Vietnam like it was running water. So I'm waiting for my assignment. I'm waiting for my assignment. I'm waiting for my assignment. Didn't come in. Uh, Out of 1,000 guys going through and getting assigned to Vietnam, I end up getting detached from the U.S. Navy and assigned to NATO.
What
And
was
then
your what was your skill? Cryptography?
um, just being in the right place at the right time. Yeah. Isn't that what life is all about?
The rest is history.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So I ended up going to I was with NATO. I was assigned to I was on a base called Sackland,
Mhm.
Supreme Allied Commander of the Atlantic. And I have my DD 214 I still carry in my wallet because the one thing I learned when I got out years later, I went to buy cell phones for my whole family. And I went to Apple, and I just by chance happened to ask them, do you give military discounts? And they said yes. And so what happened was my phone bill went from something like 650 a month to or 450 a month to 250 a month just by
Right.
me telling that.
Yeah.
So that's why I carry my DD 214 with me.
Right.
You know, do you carry yours with you?
Um, I have a Veterans Administration ID card.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So it shows, I'm disabled and all that stuff. It comes in handy sometimes.
Are you disabled?
I am.
What happened to you?
Actually, the only disability I have, which that they recognize, is tinnitus. But because of my
Interesting.
combat experience, and I was a canine handler, so I was on patrol a lot, and then cross-trained as a medic. So PTSD for me was, an ever-present thing, both active duty and then, in my other jobs and capacities. But they are still fighting me about that. And also, I had had a couple of heavy exposure to dioxin or Agent Orange because we patrolled through the defoliated areas and
Yeah. So
departure.
you were in Vietnam.
Oh yeah, yeah. Phuket, Cam Bay, and Da Nang. Most of the duty was in Da Nang. So, but anyway, so they owe me for the other things that I got exposed to, and dealing with cancers and stuff like that. So, but I'm staying ahead of the game.
How many years were you in?
I was only in for
2 years.
2 years. Yep.
Whoa, lucky devil.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I get it. I don't worry. I get it.
I got an honorable discharge and all that, but we fought back and forth because I went in with the assurance that I was going to be able to try out for pararescue, which was a pretty elite unit, and they were the medics. And because I was not a high school graduate, they said and put me in a category where they could choose where I would go, and they needed a lot of canine handlers because the exposure of the air bases and the operations of the Viet Cong, they were always trying to knock out either the fuel bladders, the fuel farms, and cause big fires and take away the fuel, or the flight line. So we
Yeah.
had to keep them farther away than their 108 millimeter rockets could reach. And we were constantly, patrolling and engaging outside the perimeter. So it was an interesting tour.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I got caught. That's why I got cross trained as a medic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So everybody had to have two specialties, and the dog was primary, but quickly,
Sure.
yeah. So anyway, no, it's all good. Yeah, no, I'm quite functional and full 100% operational.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember when I was getting my shots in the Navy, they they would give you 4 needle shots at the same time. And there was a
God,
medic, yeah, in the arm. And the medic that was supposed to be giving me the shot, I'm looking over at him and his hand is quivering like this. Holy shit, he's gonna break that needle off of my arm. Well, I didn't have to worry about that. He passed out. So, Alicia, welcome.
good timing. Good. So what's your program?
Hello.
What are you guys involved in?
Well, look, you you know what Dennis does, right? Do you know what he does?
No.
Well, I'll really let him tell you. He said he was going to be running about 10 minutes late. So we only got a few minutes to go, but he is uh, doing support to the families of people that died in wars.
Okay.
And so he's got a particular skill level, that we should appreciate.
Mental assistance or financial assistance or getting them.
No, he's just helping. I don't, well,
Watching it.
he'll be here in just a couple minutes. He can tell you exactly what he does. But great guy, very committed. We've been running this meeting for year and a half or something like that. I used to run another veterans group years ago, and we would get huge attendance. So it's so different now than what it used to be.
Why is that?
I don't know. I honestly I don't know. When I was in, it was dogs and sailors keep off the grass.
Mhm.
Now, I mean, all these years later, it's thank you for your service, and I'm still not used to that. It's
Right.
kind of bizarre to think about that, but I got out of the service in 1971.
Yeah.
So, it's just a different way of life.
Mhm.
And something that, the later, like Alicia, when were you in?
I was in from 2001 to 2006.
Okay. So you've been out a fair amount of years.
Yeah, it's a different military today. Like literally, they say, 'cause, I was in the Marine Corps, so it's like they're like the new Marine Corps, and I'm all the what now? They can have cell phones at boot camp.
What?
Are you
They
serious?
can are you kidding me? Yeah, even I kid you not. Like the army has done this for a long time because when my ex-husband was going through basic, he was allowed to have a cell phone there. And I remember laughing. I was like, you're joking, right? You have to be kidding. That can't be serious. But he
That was
was.
always part
And
of
the
the
Marine Corps allows it now too. And I'm like, they get cell phones?
that was
Okay.
always
I was
part of the
allowed to use the phone
excitement when
once,
you
but all
talked to
right, that's
someone.
cool.
That's a new world.
Yeah, that was all the excitement when you went to talk to someone that was going to boot camp.
You're hard to hear, Dennis. You're hard to
I'll be
hear,
right back,
Santa.
Jeff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you're kind of muted a little bit. Oh,
Right there.
Dennis is here.
Finally,
Dennis is
yeah,
here.
sorry about that. My wife had an appointment with the doctors out at Fort Campbell this morning, and I take her to those appointments. So
Well,
just got back.
you said you would be here at 10 after, and it's 10 after.
And after, but thank God that Google Maps is pretty darn accurate.
Isn't that crazy? What a world we live in. So I'm thinking 1975, I guess. I had a cell phone in my car, and it was a rotary dial.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe it?
That
So
had to have been cutting edge technology because I remember it was in the 80s when they had the phones that were like in the console of the car, and I thought those had the touch tone dials at that time because I think we had
yeah,
those touch tone phones back at that time. But
I've
yeah,
always been a techie. So um, when I went to you had to dial O for the information operator to
right,
place the call for you.
right. Because it's basically they were using radio signals or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
very much.
it's still it's just a different bandwidth that they use for cell phones. But yeah, I
Yeah,
remember it was not the standard interface with regular landline phones. So
yeah, yeah.
anyway, we have come quite a ways since then, and I'm thankful that they were able to predict when I'd be here, and so here I am. And I do apologize as well. Our featured speaker sent me a message last night. His wife has an injury. She's basically going to have to go through what my wife went through, which is a total joint replacement of her shoulder. And I know
Oh, I've had that.
how debilitating that's going to be. And anyway, he's going to try and reschedule, but uh, yeah, these things happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Rotator cuff surgery, is that what it's called?
Well, this was a total joint replacement. So
Oh,
rotator cuff is
yeah,
when you can actually do a repair
yeah,
on that.
that's what I
But
had.
when things progress to the point where it's basically it's kind of like a knee or hip replacement. They take out some bone, they put metal pieces in to make it better. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this is what I always say. We're always at the infancy of technology.
it's always growing, yeah, or developing. That's a better word. So
I used
at
to
least
have,
I'm not in the hospital bed like I was, or in the hospital like I was last week. So
yeah, I
How you
used to
feeling,
have
Dennis?
a mobile phone that had a case that was like this and
oh yeah,
this, and you put the phone on there like it was a coupler. And oh my God, weighed a ton, but it worked. It worked.
yes, yeah,
So one of the things, my mother was a wackadoodle. She was a crazy woman. So I'd always call my mother up only from my cell phone when I was driving. And what I used to say, I'd start talking to her. I go, Mom, the reception is really bad. You remember when you had horrible reception on a cell phone?
right.
And I go, gotta go. So how you weave your way forward.
Right, right. Well,
So I was lucky enough to talk to William
good.
and thrilled that Alicia's here.
Hello, Alicia.
Hello.
Santa.
Has
So
Alicia had a chance to introduce herself to the group?
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Go for it.
Yes, please do.
All right. I have a baby in the background, so
That's okay.
um okay. So I'm Alicia. Hi. And I run Morningstar Bookkeeping and Morningstar Business Solutions. Basically, I help small business owners. I help them with their bookkeeping. I do that affordably and ethically, and I do it on a scale where, like, I'm trying to think of the words. My brain just stopped working. um, they Sesame Street on the background. My brain just decided it was done. I offer to my clients something a little bit different than what I've seen other bookkeepers offering. They usually send out, if they even do it, I've seen a lot of bookkeepers just handle the books and then they're done and they don't do anything. So what I do is I send my customers their reports, but I send them like a series of 7 reports. And in the report, I break down what everything needs. Depending on the level of services they choose, I either send them a video of me breaking it down for them, and it's uploaded into a custom portal that they can always access, or I do a call with them and we discuss everything and break it down. And that same call, see, baby, Um, let's sit down. And I do I I do the same thing. I record the call and then I upload it into a portal so that they can forever access all of their stuff. And we do that every month, every quarter, at the end of every year. It's kind of like a mini CFO business, mini CFO service that I offer.
Okay.
And then I also offer small business automations. So I take people's very small businesses, CRMs. I build out a CRM for them with custom workflows so that they're not spending hours upon hours sending emails, sending the same things over and over. So I'll build out like a custom workflow when they get a lead generation that sends the client everything they need or they're onboarding. I'll automate all of that for them so that all they have to do is answer the questions and do the phone calls and get everything done. And that's kind of it.
Well,
And
cool.
I was in the Marine Corps. So
Oh, excellent. So that's what we were
as
going
soon
to
as
ask
Bob
next.
mentioned this group, I was like, hey, that would be me.
So tell us a little bit about your military service. You know,
So
what did you do? When did you get out?
I I decided when I was 14 that I wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck with me until I was 17 and I nagged my parents until they both signed off to let me join. And I joined. I was stationed and this was back in 2001. And because apparently I I wanted to go and get into everything that was involved. I did never end up deploying, but that's because I got married and had kids.
Mm-hmm.
So my unit allowed me to stay back because their dad was deployed to Iraq for so
Right.
long and then to Afghanistan and then to Afghanistan again. And then but I was stationed at Miramar in San Diego
Okay.
and I went in as a reservist, but that's because I wanted to be at Miramar. So I had signed on as a reservist, went to Miramar, and then did active reserve. So I activated with the reserve unit and stayed there and worked there. And I I would love to say that, like, because I know so many of my friends are like, I didn't love it. I'm like, I didn't love parts of it,
Right.
but I loved a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really did. My best friend's daughter is actually trying to get in to go in right now, and she's like, no, she should go army. She should go army. I was like, I'm partial, so I'm not gonna say anything. I was like, Marine Corps or Air Force.
So yeah, we've got a couple of other services represented here, and it's like from my perspective, it's like, you know, they should pursue what's on their heart to pursue, or in
But
their heart to pursue. So
yeah,
because I was,
I
yeah.
asked her what she wanted to do, and she goes, I want to blow things up. And I was like, no, yeah, you really would be suited for the Corps. I promise.
I was born into a Navy family and wanted to go Blue Water Navy, but turns out I have defective color vision. And so the
Ooh,
Navy, when I was applying for ROTC scholarships, the Navy granted me a 4-year scholarship with one exception, that I had to take the Marine option. And
oh,
fortunately, the Army came through with an unconditional offer, and that's the route that I took. But and then Bob had service here too. Did you describe your service to the group earlier before I joined, Bob?
Yeah, I told them about NATO, the fact
Okay.
I was with NATO and in Norfolk, Virginia for my entire career, but I was also a reservist, so they know my history. So, I'm thinking we really the objective is really to help grow this group, right?
Correct. Well, the objective really is to provide value to the people so that people will see a point in being engaged with the group. So yes, but I mean we have
Yeah.
to show value to in order to do that.
Well,
Absolutely.
the thing that's so interesting is, and you've heard this a million times from me already. My daughter worked for the VA. She's got a doctorate in psychology. And she said it was one of the toughest. She only lasted a year or 2 years at the VA in Redlands, California. And the reason for it is the amount of suicides that are committed. And that's where it really becomes very, very difficult, to deal with vets. And it's not just the young vets, it's the older vets. So what happens is they end up retiring from their jobs after they were in the military. And all the issues, negativity of what they encumbered when they spent time in the military and how difficult it was. So what happens that it's the older people that are committing suicide as well as the young people.
Right.
And that to me is the really, really sad part of the whole process. So helping out. You smoking a cigarette or a cigar?
My cigar.
Oh, there you go.
House.
There you go.
It's my house. I can smoke my cigars where I want.
There you go.
There you go. You feeling better, Dennis?
Well, see, the whole crazy thing about last week was that I never felt bad at all. It's just when you go to the bathroom and you walk away and there's a toilet full of blood, and that's happening 5 or 6 times in a day. It's like, oh, I better take care of this. So anyway, they said that well, I'm not having that issue. They did the colonoscopy. They did they said that it was a diverticula that looked like it had self-healed, but still getting black tarry stools. So I'm needing to follow up with
Did they
that
check
doc
you
and
for
with
ulcers?
what's that?
Did they check you for ulcers?
They did not do the full scan. They did the colonoscopy. They did 2 or 3 different scans of the abdomen. They were looking for active bleeds, and that was what the area that they did the colonoscopy on was where the abdominal scans showed the active bleeding was happening. So no, they didn't. I know that they have this. I think it's cool. Some people probably don't. The hospitalist said that they've got this camera on in a little pill form that they have you swallow, and then they can scan. But they didn't do that yet. So I'm guessing that since I'm still having some level of bleeding, that may be the next thing that they do. But they were concerned that I was leading,
Younger, when I was going through my ulcer stage and I end up having blood in the stool, that was the first thing they said was a bleeding ulcer.
right. Well, I don't have any other symptoms of ulcers though. So it's like,
Okay.
usually there's some other things going on, and I had zero symptoms of anything at all. There's no abdominal pain. There was no nausea. There was no, issues with certain foods affecting me. There was nothing. It just blood. And so, it's like the philosophy and approach I had was that, God's been taking care of me for a long time, and I'm just having faith and confidence and trust that he's still going to do that. And when my time comes, then I'll go home. But until then, I don't worry about it. I was making big posts to Facebook, and I had a ton of friends and family that were a lot more worried about it than I was. I will tell you that.
You can hear me now better, Rob?
Your volume is still low, but I can hear you well enough here. So
Yeah, I turned up the speaker on my computer, but it's better, but it's not there.
You gotta love it when Windows does an update
Just-
and it screws with all your settings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay, so let's talk about making this thing work. Everybody agree?
Sure.
Yep.
Now, I know I was just going to look and see how many people registered for today's meeting.
Yeah, that would be a big issue right there. Why are they taking the time to register and then not taking the time to show up and
Exactly.
participate?
Well,
Exactly.
I will tell you that when we first got started with this, Bob, that there was, I'm not sure what the system that was set up was, that it was difficult for me to join after when I first got started with this. The registration, it when I would get it, it's like with other Zoom meetings, when I have an invite, it's just a single link there, and it was what I would get was it was the registration link again instead. And so that may be something to look into, to say, is how easy is it once somebody does register for them to actually just get the link so they don't have to go to that registration page again.
Okay, let me try something here. Let me go back. Hang on a sec. So I'm just looking at the term veteran people. 940,000 people are on LinkedIn with the term veteran.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a lot of folks out there, and like I'm saying, how many folks did register for today? Do you see that?
Yeah, 45.
45. So those are the ones that I would say we should query and say, okay, what happened? Did you have an issue with being able to join? So I'd say that'd be the first step.
Okay, so let's do this. Hold on one sec.
You know, if you say it correctly, like, hey, we see you noticed, but you didn't show up. Did you have issues
Right.
actually getting onto the Zoom? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And if they come back, then that's definitely something that needs to be resolved or looked into.
Let's see. I don't. Okay, so I'll send out a few.
And then we know that the other things do happen, like our speaker today. And I had a board meeting for my nonprofit earlier this morning, and it's like one of the guys that's been on the board since the beginning is a local attorney in Nashville. And it's like I mean, it's a good news thing for him. His caseload is just blown up. So, he had court. I can't blame him for missing the board meeting because he's, in court representing clients, but things like that happen. Maybe we could develop a little bit of a questionnaire that we could follow up with for the folks who registered but did not actually.
Oh yeah, I just sent a message. Did you have an issue joining the veteran meeting today? Would love to know.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So we'll see. I have the same issue with
Do you have this set up as an event on LinkedIn, Dennis?
Bob's been the one who's been helping me with the technology
Yeah.
end of this. So
yeah, we had 45 people register.
But you're asking, Sandy, you're asking if this was set up as an event on LinkedIn.
Correct.
I don't think that it is.
Yeah,
But
we did.
It is a LinkedIn event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. This person, Logan. Message. Did you now these are second level connections for me.
Right.
You know what else I'll do? I'll also look and see. Oh, Dennis Schroeder is a mutual connection. So
How did
I'll have,
Alicia, are you still there? How did you find out about the Zoom?
Um, Bob actually mentioned it in our Zoom yesterday for Arizona. And when he said something about veterans group, I was like, that would be me. No one ever assumes that the women, like everyone forgets that we might be
I-
there. We're a
and then-
really small group too.
had
Yeah.
you come to the meeting before?
This one?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yes, I want to be there.
Well, thank you for being here. So I would, in fact, that is something that I really do want to see is more women participating because not only do I have women in my family, my life that served, but I was a medical service corps officer in the Army, so we had a higher percentage of women in the force than the other branches did. So I have a lot of women that I respect that did great things, and it's like I really want to hear their stories. I want to hear your story too. We'll talk, I guess, a little bit. I mentioned about the featured speaker. What we typically do is our format is to do introductions for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then give the meeting over to the featured speaker to tell their story, to tell their, talk about things like what motivated them to join the service, what they did in the service, what life has been like after the service, and kind of how their military experience shaped that.
Well, let's,
Yes,
can we jump forward a little bit and get
sure. I just wanted to let Alicia know kind of
Yeah.
what our format normally is, but that's, so we can talk about that later for scheduling you if you would, but please do invite other female veterans that you know.
Absolutely.
or invite any veteran.
Any veteran, yes.
Yeah, any veteran would be good. Look, there's, as I've mentioned, my daughter worked for the VA. It was incredibly tough. She couldn't stay at it that long. She only lasted a year or 2 years because of back then, the Veterans Administration was very rigid on their rules, what you can say, what you couldn't say. Instead of thinking of the veteran, it was the VA that was kind of commanding the environment.
Right.
So, but now from what I've understood is the VA is done away with their rigidity and is more willing to listen. And I'm hoping that it's making a difference. So I just read only to a couple people so far. I said, these are second level connections for me.
Right.
Did you have an issue joining the veteran meeting today? Would love to know.
Right.
And then I signed my name. I'm kind of curious why this is one of the things that baffles me
Right.
about in my other event that I had this morning, there were 236 people that registered and 30 people showed up.
Oofta.
No.
So we know there's an issue. It's how do you work through this? How do you figure out what is preventing people from, you do one thing and what's the objective? Are they just trying to collect names? I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
My suspicion is, they're collecting names so they can put it into a database so they can text somebody or email them, but when you're a second level connection, you don't have the email addresses.
Right.
You might get the location, And so they maybe, here, I'm gonna need to write this down as a note. People that register and don't show.
That's the case with the with yesterday too.
Yeah, 236 people, I think, was registered yesterday, and only
But like
30
six,
people. Pardon me?
how many was it? It
30.
was a really three.
30
Okay.
people showed. 30 people don't show. Why? Big question mark. Are people
No,
collecting data?
I'm not as familiar with the LinkedIn events as I am with Facebook events, but I know that with the Facebook events, at least the people who put those together do often have the option to allow people to say, hey, I'm interested, but I'm not really sure I'm going to show up. And but I have had a couple of those kind of events that show up that's like, yeah, I don't know that I can make it, and it doesn't give me that choice of saying, yeah, I'm going, definitely planning on going. I'm interested. I may or may not go, or no, I'm not interested. I mean, those are the three options that those groups um, oftentimes give me. But there have been some that only give me the two: either I'm going or I'm not going. So I'm thinking that it's possible that folks have an interest in this, but may not be able to say commit to. But maybe the system just puts them all into that one group. I don't know. I'm just using my experience with the Facebook groups. I'm thinking maybe we could expand this over to that platform as well. I know that there's another group that I participate in when I can on Mondays. It started on the platform Alignable. And I know that when they also created a group, mirrored the group, I should say, on Facebook and on LinkedIn, they got a lot more participation just because you had, different people coming in from different platforms that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got this woman that registered, Doris Phillips. She's one of your connections.
Okay.
She's out of Phoenix, Arizona. And she's a second level connection to me, but she's a first level to you. And so here's what she wrote, which I think is
Right.
interesting. I am currently enrolled in Grand Canyon University, and after my graduation, my goal is to move into clinical psychology, counseling field in order to help veterans and active military through tough times. Helping has always been a dream of mine. My goal is to work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, assisting and helping our veterans and active military. So that's what she wrote.
Okay.
Let's go take a look at another one. And I think this is gonna shed some interesting information. Here's a person out of Atlanta. She is a military veteran. She's connected to Dennis. Does she say anything? Air Force military veteran with an active secret security. Oh, active secret security clearance.
Mm.
Results oriented senior manager with extensive experience working in public sector and US. Hang on a sec. Um, somebody else wrote something and covered up what this one was writing. Oriented senior manager with extensive experience working with public sector agencies, NGO, U.S. Department of Defense, federal agencies, skilled in inspiring organizational change, designing effective processes, and delivering recommendations for critical decisions, exceptional interpersonal and communication ability to convey complex concept and diverse audiences. Okay, she's in the U.S. Army Reserve part-time. Huh. Always interesting.
Right.
You know, so she's not actually a veteran.
But she
Oh,
helps.
she's in the reserve, so that's still.
She is a veteran, yes, she's.
Yeah. Okay, let's go down to the next one. Military veteran, Atlanta. Connected to Dennis. Air Force military veteran with active secret security clearance. Results-oriented senior manager with extensive experience working in the public sector, NGO. It's almost identical to what the other.
Right.
Well, that's interesting. All right, so information technology, Chandler, Arizona. And visual information equipment operator, maintainer, U.S. Army full-time for 2 years. Huh. Interesting. Well, that didn't take us very far.
You know, I will say I took a look. I'm using my smartphone on the LinkedIn app and looked for this meeting as an event, and it only shows me past events. So I'm not sure if
Maybe
I'm
it's
not using this right, but was looking for future events. This shows, you know, December 1st of last year, February 9th, February 23rd, etc. But these are all past events.
Have to set up a new event for every meeting, and that's the downfall of
Yeah, there's one for, like I said, there's every meeting there, but it's in terms of thinking about, you know, is it visible there as a future event? At least what I'm using on my smartphone, it's not showing up. So.
so this gentleman, Adam Brackney, U.S. Marine Corps, 20 years, 1 month. Military police service, 2 years, 11 months. Military police, and he's a no-show. Huh. He's a no-show too.
what's it actually listed under, Dennis?
Yeah, this was under Dennis.
No, what's this Zoom actually listed under?
Veterans.
It's my city referral meeting veterans group.
Yeah, our other group that we run, it has about 30 people showing every single solitary week. We just put what do I put? Forgotten what I said. Hold on. My City Mastermind Networking and Referral Group, Arizona Networking and Referral Group. That's another group that I have. And then I've also got the Veterans Group. So, I can't honestly say, getting people, how do you get people to respond to this stuff? Well, here's something that's kind of interesting. So by this weekend, my staff, my programmers are going to be launching data. So I've collected at this point millions of people into a database. And if I put veteran here, I'll just do it right here. Let's see if I can find it right here. This is just my account. Let me launch my city account. And I am going to look here. Let's see how many veterans come up in my city. This takes a little bit of time for it to launch. I'd be curious, because I do have a tag veteran, I think. Yeah, veteran. And I'll search veteran. See how many people will show up in this. So I've got something like 30,000 people plus in this database. Come on. Once we get this upgraded to the system that I want to use it as, speed will be the next thing that I'm
Right.
going to work on. So I've got, I hardly have anybody registered showing as a veteran. Oh. Huh. That's interesting. Wonder if I have. I'll have to play with this. So we could look at both past and present for military.
Right.
I wonder if I show vocation. Let's get rid of this. Come on. Let's go to vocation. So I've got vocation in here. Let's go see how many people show up here. It's all about the data.
Oh,
Everything we
absolutely.
do is all about the data.
Yeah.
And where I'm trying to take this, hopefully it'll align both connections and here it's vocation of military. Tag I also have as military. So let's see. So I've got about 30 people that show as a vocation of military in my LinkedIn. But that could be old data too. I think it's going to be very interesting if I can get this thing launched, how we can research it and start doing some AI messages. I think that'll make a heck of a difference. Right?
I think,
Alicia?
Alicia, I think given your what you said about how you set up these things to be kind of a process of like with onboarding that I think some of your thought process in developing that could definitely be helpful here with this, because as I'm thinking, it's okay, have somebody that registers, they don't show up, we immediately send them a questionnaire. You know, it's like, hey, we
Right.
missed, you know, that kind of thing, and basically get feedback. Then maybe develop a survey or something like that, and then for folks who do show up, to send a survey out about, you know, to help us keep things going. You know, what did you like? What you did? What, you know? How could we do better? That sort of thing. That's just kind of off the top of my head. So
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting part. There's 16 million veterans in the United States right now.
mhm.
Yep.
Getting to them, getting to see where their social media is, find, here, I'm making another note, them on social media. Like,
I notice a lot are in like we were talking about Facebook, a lot of them are on Facebook or in the Facebook groups, and
Mhm.
they are really, really active in small local groups.
Right,
but you're not,
but not large national
But
group.
I'm not seeing them on huge groups, but I do see them, I mean, all the time. I know that in just in Arizona, we have a ton of veteran networking groups.
Mhm.
And so what I'll do is, because I want to see more of them on LinkedIn. I just Facebook can like suck the life out of you so quickly. Um, so I'm trying to
yeah.
move most
There's
of my work over. It's exhausting.
There's
People
a-
just like dump their like mental load on Facebook, and I'm like, you are killing me. Like, I don't want to read all that.
have
Well,
you heard
the
about,
other aspect of that is Facebook has limitations
well, their
Yeah.
algorithms
that
suck.
Yeah.
yeah, they only allow 5,000 quote unquote connections on Facebook. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's still true
Personal,
or not.
no, it's true.
It
but
is true. Okay.
but
Have you
they,
guys heard of the platform called Be Connected yet?
no,
Oh,
I
I know
haven't.
that. Yeah.
Big thing that they're promoting is they are just starting to explode. But if you put a post, Dennis, on your platform on Be Connected, it will go to everybody on the platform. There is no algorithm to stop it. It's a LinkedIn on steroids, and it's actually starting to offer a lot of different services, a lot of like it has its own version of a Zoom
Okay.
that is actually pretty cool. And I'm just starting to learn it, and I'm just
What do they charge for that?
you can do it for free,
Oh,
but then
Yeah, but
they also have paid versions of it as well.
yeah, but the reality is the free is very limited usually.
No, no. When I do stuff on free, and it's going to change even more on as of November 1st, you can do a group up to 500 people that you can get on a Zoom
That-
kind of podcast for free for an hour.
If you
As
could
one
put
of their,
that link in the chat, that would be great, because I just did a Bing search here, and I see
it's
beconnectedaz.org, which is great because it's helping veterans in Arizona. But I'm not seeing the link to this particular group.
yeah, no,
Santa,
it's a whole,
do
it's
us a
whole new
favor.
platform.
Do us a favor. Take a deeper dive into that. And if you have any problems, contact me or Dennis,
Yeah,
and we'll figure out how we get to the next level. Because it's always about how do we enrich this group?
yeah.
Right.
And so it's like a payback to the group.
Well, I've had 2 meetings with like the fifth in command already with this place, and they're pretty excited because I am the only Santa Claus on that whole platform, and they are quite excited about it, but they,
Which group? Which platform?
on the Be Connected platform. So they're showing me all different kinds of things that I can do with groups, with posting, with creating groups on there. And it's the biggest thing that they're promoting is they don't have an algorithm. You don't go there's no happy anniversaries, there's no happy birthdays, it's a business platform to attract business people. So that's the one cool part about any
Okay.
of the media that's going on there.
Okay, so if you could find out anything from them about veterans
Yeah,
on Be Connected,
yeah.
I looked at Be Connected a long, long time ago, even tried it for a little while, but
Well, they said they've been around since the fall of 2020, and they just did a whole revamp as of May 1st. So it's really changed, and now they're attracting a lot of groups to come over there and really giving them all kinds of different things.
got it.
But I will get some more information and get it to you or Dennis. I've just put my Dennis, you joined my Facebook group for the Warriors Beacon of Hope. I've just
Yes.
launched, soft launched yesterday, today for the Warriors Beacon of Hope for the actual list website. So I've sent out a few people say, hey, I want some critiques before I do a major blitz on this thing. So you guys want to have a look at that?
Okay.
That would they and the first thing they're saying is some people are saying we don't like the black. So I'm gonna have to get with my website guy and say change the black a little bit to get it a little bit more colorful.
Sure. Okay.
You know,
I'll be looking for that there.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Alicia, I just thank you for putting your contact information there, Alicia. I just added a whole bunch of stuff here on for myself and the nonprofit that I run too. So
So here's a good question just to end with.
yes.
Alicia,
Yes.
how many veterans are you in contact with?
Um,
Just a guess.
that I talk to regularly, probably around just 10 or 11, not too many. But I know I have a ton of them. I have a ton of them on Facebook. And I'm in groups for veterans. I don't talk to too many of them regularly, but I can definitely post it in there and tell them to connect with them on LinkedIn so that we can get them over to here.
Yeah, if they are on LinkedIn, that's always a
Yeah.
question. You know, there's 3 million plus or 3 billion people on Facebook. There's 1 billion on LinkedIn. Big difference.
Yeah, it's a different audience and a different purpose.
It
But
is. It
I
is.
think, like I said, the experience that we had with that other group or their experience tells me there's a benefit to having presence on multiple platforms that all lead into the same meeting.
That's what I'm working towards with this new upgrade that we're doing right now.
Well, I will start promoting it on my Facebook group for the Warriors Beacon of Hope, the Facebook group. I'll start promoting it on there too.
Right.
Fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, see what the attendance is. Now, the link that you use to get onto this meeting, Santa, you can use the same link to send them for the Facebook group too.
Okay.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Because it's a Zoom link.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I've got the one where you register every time.
Right. That's where I'm saying it's problematic because it should just be once you register, like I have a link that brings me straight here. And
Right.
that's what we need to get to, rather than having to register every time. But when I share that link with, say, some of our featured speakers who are having difficulty, then they show up as me. So there's two Dennises.
Yeah,
So-
but we can quickly change that.
Yeah, we can. I'm just saying that's a technical thing that would love to be able to resolve.
Alicia, I just sent you a friend request on Facebook. I'm out of, requests for LinkedIn this week. But,
Awesome.
love to have a connection with you and learn a little bit more about you and
Yes, perfect.
Right, gang. Well, we're
Thanks.
we gotta
past the
share
top of
this.
the hour.
We gotta
Right.
share it and we gotta build it, Dennis and Rob.
Yep.
I mean,
And we do have featured speakers up through the 15th of November that are and I contact them a week out and we'll see, but hopefully we won't have another situation, but you know, Brendan, apologized. Clearly I understand his situation. Hopefully we can get him in on the 22nd of November. But anyway, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you, Alicia, for joining us. Hopefully, you like what we're doing and the purpose and our intent, and we'll stay with us.
Maybe she's the person that adds the fuel to our fire.
Maybe. I hope
Maybe.
so. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right,
everybody
gang.
have an awesome
Thank you.
weekend.
You too.
Okay.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.